We are here, my friends, without rushing into everyday's business, as our politicians and MPs do in Parliament, to look very carefully, with a hard look, to see what we are missing. We are missing big, and that is excitement of life. We do just rush for producing and consuming without knowing where we go. What's the purpose of life? And that's all because of one thing. All comes from the fact that our law is gradually becoming more and more a modern version of the law of jungle. And you know why? It just has mistaken relatedness with separateness. We all are following this system, which is promoting indirectly separateness. And that's I would call later, I would get into the adversarial litigation, I call it the virus of our system. We will get to that one. It also calls for superficial answer. You know how serious we have problem of trust, that we cannot even trust our prime ministers? Or we have problem with juvenile crime, which is on rise, or we have problem with a school closing every year. What's the response of the law? All just like an owner of a house, that his house is falling because of the foundation, and all he does, just making some decorations. And actually, what is the cause of that? The cause of it is that we have separated two very related, inseparable things, love and law, as we are going to do with your help. Love and law are inseparable. And you know why? Because what love can do from within man, law cannot from without. That's the reality. Our lawmakers are absolutely ignorant. So we're going to discuss about that. Now, before I go into details of what our answer is to correct the system, let me tell you more about what is wrong. Because ordinarily we are so in rush to go after everything. We think it's all okay. We're in the best country of the world, but probably we are. But we are missing that it could be much better than what we have. Why? Because of this. First of all, our law is not functioning very well, contrary to what's seen in the appearance. Our criminal law is one of the most modern criminal code. Our few lawyers, I believe here, they know. But what's the result? Our criminals go to jail and come back, get more dangerous. Do you know that over 50% of our inmates in jail are repeat offenders? Problem of recidivism. Over 50%, almost 60%. And in family law, family is in crisis. You know that this number of divorces soaring, number of marriages falling. Over 50% of children in this country, based on the Statistics Canada, are not raised by their parents directly. And what our law does, exactly what is the act right now in Ontario legislation, how to separate or how to divide the pension benefit between the spouses. That's the newest legislation. What that can help the problem of family crisis that is breaking down absolutely. Or in our Welfare Social Insurance Act or Disability Act, Ontario auditor told us last year, over $1.2 billion, not million, $1.2 billion, your tax money is wasted in paying wrong people, overpayments. And we think everything is okay. That's the problem. And other acts, Insurance Act, $30 billion was wasted in the US in 1 year, probably not much different in Canada. For what? Bogus claim or fraud. So don't tell me, and nobody should tell us that, yeah, everything is perfectly okay. It's not. Now, we come to other flaws before we get the answer for it. Have you noticed that all we do is just contractual relations? From early morning to night, we exchange something with something else. That mentality of exchange is the effect of our system that doesn't recognize anything other than that. And worse than that, if it is not contractual, it's fight and adversarial. So both of them are not human. That doesn't make any goal for life, any meaning for life. No wonder our new generation go to drug and alcohol or premature sex or teenage pregnancies just to get excitement, which you never get, because there is no excitement in the contractual relations, what it gives us, what pleasure, real pleasure we get. And the result, I mean, this type of mentalities, perhaps you have noticed, has spread to family relations. Even to some extent, spouses are dealing with each other as business partners. Children and parents and brothers and sisters. Nobody's fault is that. It's just a system requirement. I tell you one thing that perhaps you won't believe me. In law school, we were given some samples of wills, of how people make will. There was will, I mean, example of it, that an aunt giving gift to her nephew, the cottage, provided that the nephew goes to medical school. Well, poor nephew cannot go to medical school. I would say, Auntie, if you love me, give it to me anyway. Why you make it conditional? Well, I'm not saying that this will is wrong, by the way, or the contractual relation is wrong, but it can't give us the excitement, the purpose of life. And in fact, before I go, I had one more point to mention here. Our intellectuals are becoming business intellectuals. In French, I guess they sell it intellectual vendu. They're selling their talents for business, for profits. The incentive is making money, not love, like the one that Galileo did, or Mozart did, or Socrates. Why we don't have them anymore? We should think about it. Why we don't have any hero? Because we just do only contractual and business. I tell you one thing, you may agree with me. Suppose we have the carbon copy of Socrates today. Would he put his life on line for his principles? You tell me. Would he, with this mentality? Or he would say, oh, I'm sorry, my idea is wrong. Just give me a grant and send a letter of apology to the government and let's go away. This is true. We don't have them anymore, and we know why we don't have them. But that's not only problem with our system. Superficiality everywhere. We are a generation of formalities. We only look at the surface everything. We have the best employment act here to control the employers not to discriminate. But do you think they care? What they do whatever they want. They just fill up the application or make the application just to get the Human Rights Commission off their back. That's all they do. I mean, not only them, anybody. In fact, everybody is encouraged to meet the formalities without looking beyond that. Formalities become a common practice. Legal mask over anything is a general practice. Civility is becoming very much formal. You know, we go to court, and lawyers, I mean, we call each other good friends. We shake hands. We tell the judge that we are friends of each other, and we address each other. But we do fight there. We're going for fight. It's not a joke. We don't use the stick and rock, but we use computers. We still fight. Civility. But it's not only Canada. I give you one example. In 1975, I was in Geneva for an international humanitarian law to add 2 protocols to that to protect the prisoners in war, the people got injured in war. Such a big job. I was the legal advisor. And one day, the member of British delegation came to me and said, in coffee break, he said, Mr. Fanayan, tell me what exactly we are doing here. I said, what did you tell me? He said, we are here to say it's okay to fight and kill each other, but we have to do it in a nice way. That's what exactly we are all doing.